your attention, please. It's time for the final countdown. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Jovenes. Thank you for joining us. Once again, you have joined us for OMG. It's MDV. We thank you guys for supporting us for our previous episodes. I think you're going to like this episode here today. Today it's all hosts, okay? Did not have a special guest for this one, but we will again for our future episodes, okay? And tonight, we're going to be talking about, what are we talking about again?
Negative influences.
That's right, negative influences. All right, have any of you ever been negatively influenced? I know I have. We all fall to them. I mean, peer pressure. Might be other reasons why you fell to it. So once again, these hosts here, we're going to introduce ourselves. I am Ben Green. To my left, we have...
Melly Pink. Hi, guys.
And to her left, we have...
We got Johnny Blue.
Johnny Blue, that's right. Thank you for once again joining us again, guys. This is such a great blessing for us. I mean, the support we've gotten for the first few episodes, I could not have even imagined that many people were going to be tuning in to watch. Thank you guys. We do appreciate it. Keep on watching. It just keeps getting better and better from here. As you can see, we have improved the studio here. A few things, few signs here.
Yeah.
Especially that one right there. Look at that. OMG. It is MDV. That is something special right there.
That sure is.
All of our signs on there. Ben Green holding it down at the bottom. Melly Pink in the middle. Johnny Blue at the top there.
Yes.
Ooh, I like that.
Nice.
Jackie, did you think of that? That was you? It wasn't you?
Yeah.
I knew it was Jackie. Had to have been her idea. Guys, we're going to be selling the t-shirts soon too, so we decided to wear them today just to, promote them a little bit. Remember, we got 2 designs out there possible for you to go ahead and purchase. Everything goes back to the cameras and the media department, so we can continue doing this show for you. And today, let's get right into our topic. So Melly's going to be giving us some quotes, right? And we're going to be seeing what we think about those quotes. We're going to give it our little bit of answers to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yes. Melly, what you got for us?
all right. So I just want to start off by saying what exactly we're talking about. So today's topic is negative influences. And basically what we want to do is talk about how they affect our lives mentally, spiritually, emotionally. Because believe it or not, the people you hang around, my dad tells me all the time, you start becoming like them.
You sure do.
So you need to watch out for those people that you hang out with at school. It could be people at church. Sometimes, unfortunately, people aren't walking the right path, and they are bad influences on other people at church as well. So I think it was actually Johnny's idea to talk about this because we've all had experiences with those friends, those family members that were unfortunately negative influences for us, and they either pulled us away from God or didn't help our growth with God.
Yep.
So would you like to give a little testimony on that, Johnny, or do you want me to start?
Testimony. No, like how Ben and Melissa were saying, we've all had negative influences, tanto at school, even at church. Sometimes we think that people, because they come to church, they're like Christian, but we don't know how they are outside the church and all that. So how Melissa was saying, like, testimony wise, like, I think in general, I think we can all say we all have friends or family that are not Christian. I think we can all say that.
We all do.
And I remember in middle school, that's and I say that in general. I think now in middle school is where you start seeing that change.
Oh my gosh!
In a bunch of kids. Sorry, we start seeing that because they start trying to fit in. And they start worrying about how other people look at them and how they feel about them. So they're like, oh, if you don't do this, you can't be part of our group. So they make you do some like dumb things, inappropriate things. A veces, sometimes they tell you like, oh, go, like next time the teacher tells you something, like stand up to her or stand up to him, do something. So for one to prove their point, like they want to be cool, and I'll say it like that in quotations, because you're not being cool, you're just hurting yourself.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're hurting yourself and all that. So it was something that I wanted. Like I was asking, and I asked Sister Yellow. Sister Sulema.
Yellow Z. Shout out to Yellow Z.
Yeah, I asked her, I'm
There we go.
like, and I asked my cousin too, and I was like, hey, well, what can we talk about? And literally, like my cousin with La Hermana Sulema, they both said the same thing. Talk about something that affects the youth. And one thing that I've seen that affects the youth a lot is that negative influence. Mm-hmm. So there's a bunch of things that we can talk about, guys, but we want to focus on that, like the people surrounding you and everything.
I know I've grown up with a saying here. I heard a lot. It goes, birds of a feather flock together. And you might not think that your friends affect you, but they do. Mm-hmm. It's almost why you're friends, because you guys are so much alike. And if you're not alike, you start to become alike, and you want to do things to impress them. And where I grew up, that was kind of dangerous. I grew up in some pretty rough neighborhoods, a lot of drugs, a lot of gun violence, and excuse me, a lot of like gang violence there too. So my parents tried to keep me away from those negative influences. The ones that are will pull you down and can possibly have you do something that can ruin the rest of your life. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, one mistake, you get a record, and it's real tough to live after that. Yeah. So you're kind of stuck with that mistake. Mm-hmm. You live in a world that's kind of unforgiving. So negative influences, it's not just also from people that you do know. Lately, now with social media, you might get I guess negative influence from people you don't know. Mm-hmm. I know a lot of these influencers, they like to do stuff just to impress people, stuff they wouldn't normally do. Yeah. I don't know if you've seen like a lot of these guys, playing pranks or whatever on people they don't know just to get a few likes. That could be a negative influence on you. Mm-hmm. Maybe because you're trying to achieve a goal and you think the only way to do that is to stand out or do something weird, daring or whatever. Negative influence right there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Again, it's all about doing something that you wouldn't normally do. You're being influenced to do something against what God is trying to get you to do.
Exactly.
Want to continue on that?
Yeah, I think, I would speak like on my behalf for like when I was in high school. Middle school, not really. Actually, yeah, middle school. I was not the greatest kid. I always grades had to be on point. My parents were always like, you better bring back those A's. So grades were always good, but middle school I was a little rebel. So I would maybe say things I shouldn't, because again, my whole girl group, they were all these girls that we obviously weren't raised in the nicest area, which was Lenox and Inglewood. Mm-hmm. So that was rough in itself. Yep. And all these girls said things and did things to defend themselves, because unfortunately there was those girls that want to push you to your limit or make you do something that you shouldn't, and you're going to get in trouble for it. So we always had to put up this front I'm bad too, don't try me because I'm going to try you. That was kind of the thing. So thankfully I moved out of there, came to Palmdale. I was going to church at the time, and then I stopped going. But when I stopped going, I was just talking to someone about this, that I was always intact, what I learned, what my parents taught me in the church, what my pastors taught me in the church. The
lessons you learned.
Yeah. And I knew there was consequences for everything, not just here on earth, but
beyond.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I was always my friends were not the best influences. I love them to death, but they were not the best influences. And one thing I learned in high school was I would always make this prayer. And it's one of the prayers that I hate to make, because it always in my case, this is God's favorite prayer to him. And I would say, please remove those people that do not belong into my life.
There you go.
Please remove those people that do not benefit me or do not get me closer to you. I kid you not, the next day, that friend that I thought was my bestie, gone out of thin air. Wow. Just complete disconnect. Neither I felt bad nor she felt bad that we weren't talking. It was just a easy, just this how do you say it? This part? Disconnect. Yeah.
Yeah, disconnect. Separation.
So,
Yeah.
Dun, dun.
Yeah, so it was that was all God. How in the world did I have this bestie, and I made this prayer and she's not my friend anymore?
Yeah.
And I was well, that was God. So every time I made that prayer, God removed the people that didn't belong in my life.
Yeah.
And the ones that he did allow in my life were because they were good people, or I was a benefit to their life and I was helping them grow spiritually, or whatever the case may be for them. So I was always unfortunately near like those influences that either were good or not. And the ones that were not were always like, hey, let's go out to this party after. Hey, let's go here, let's go there. Senior year was my fun year. I definitely went to all the games. Never did anything I shouldn't. Always went to all the games, all the dances, like everything the school offered. Always there.
Lucky.
Sorry, Johnny. Sorry, COVID.
Sorry,
But
we're gonna start calling him COVID Johnny.
COVID Johnny.
Because COVID ruined a lot of Blues.
It ruined my whole senior year, man.
Yeah, I lived my best life my senior year, let me tell you. But again, didn't do anything I shouldn't have. Was I offered 1,000 times before the game? Hey, let's take some shots. No, I'm good. I don't do that thing.
Yeah.
And they gave you that look like, why? Well, because I don't want to.
Right.
Because I shouldn't.
I don't
first
do
of
this.
all, that's not what I do. Of course, you get those looks. Of course, they're gonna look at you and question you and ask you why this, why that. But again, I know what I should and shouldn't do. Shouldn't do. So never did any of that. I would have, I remember one time there was a senior sunrise, and they're like, hey, let's go to the view. And I was like, well, what's going to happen at the view? Like, the view's here. We're looking at the sun go up. What else do you want? No, let's go chill at the view. And I was like, no, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So always, learn to discern, those things that you shouldn't do or, your parents taught you. Because there's always going to be that little voice in the back of your head saying, don't do it.
So you're saying never put yourself in that situation.
Yeah, try not to, because you, like me, knowing the type of friends I had, I knew what I was getting myself into, and I always expected it. I always had to have an excuse, like, okay, what am I gonna say? Why can't I go? Oh, I can't go because I have to go do this. Oh, I have to go do that. Because you're gonna get those looks. Sometimes like I just don't want to. Well, why? They always question my choices, and I'm just like, because I don't want to.
And see, that's a matter of respect too. If they're sitting there questioning when you say, I don't want to do something,
exactly,
maybe those are the people that needed to be removed.
Yeah. And surely enough, when I said God remove these people,
bye
they were the first ones to go. So I did see this quote that said, be picky about who you keep around you. Personalities, words, and traits do rub off naturally. So you hang around those people too much, and they say that one word that you shouldn't be saying, and you're around them 24/7, that word is going to rub off onto you. And it's going to feel so natural coming out of you because you hear it so naturally out of them. You're like, oh, okay, I get this. Oh.
Yeah.
Just start shouting it out like out of nowhere. So
I think we naturally want to be in groups. That's how we're raised. You're raised in families. There's not too many people that grow up and say, I want to talk to nobody. I don't want to have any kind of friends. And even if people do say that, we're just built. Humans are built to be around other humans, So you will find yourself doing things to fit in, whether that's how you style yourself, whether it's how you speak. I think it's like a gang mentality that we all have that's just in there. The only thing is you need to not just pick your individual friends correctly, pick your individual groups correctly. Because sometimes your friends will change depending on which group they're hanging out with. So we gotta watch that because, again, like you said, it'll become natural. You'll start picking up on some of their negative habits, as well as some of the better habits of the people you're hanging out in the group with. You know?
And it happens with the good things too. Like I would say with Jocelyn, I was literally saying it right now. She always says, friend this, friend that.
Mike.
Sorry. I'm like, is that something big?
Sorry, guys. We just finished eating.
We just devoured some
my goodness.
bomb wings. So I was like, oh my God.
Those wings were delicious.
I don't want to put it over. I was like, I'm going to put
I'm sorry, guys.
Oh, man.
But if you guys are in the Palmdale, Lancaster area,
yes,
go try out Boom Boom Chicken.
Right.
Top
Try it out.
notch.
My goodness.
So good.
If you don't like it,
All right.
something's wrong with you.
Yes.
No, but like I was saying, there's some good traits you could pick off people. For example, like with Jocelyn, she always says friend. Like she'll call you, hi friend, how are you, friend?
Are we talking about J Red here?
Oh, we're talking about J Red.
Junior? Oh,
We're talking about JR.
Junior.
But I literally was calling her, hey friend. Like I'll tell her because she says it so much, like it rubs off on you.
It's true.
So it can happen with good things and with bad things. She'll call me, hey friend, how are you, friend? Like it's so natural. Again, it feels like I've been saying it my whole life, but I haven't. I've heard it about a few weeks now, and I'm just like, friend is a new word. Okay. Hi, friend. How are you, friend?
Yeah.
So it happens in good and bad things, and you just have to be really careful around the groups you hang around with.
Well, that is true.
People, I mean, in middle school and high school, the common thing is groups. You don't really see like a friend to friend relationship anymore. You see, oh, we're part of our group. Oh, our group wants to do this. Our group wants to do that. And it just depends like what kind of group that is that you're hanging around with and putting yourself with, because you're putting yourself in that situation.
You are. You really are. And that's one thing that you're kind of responsible for, you know, and sometimes a group can get into trouble, even though you don't do anything, you're going to get in trouble because you were with that group.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a lot of things. One of the things that my parents taught me, and I think that was why they were strict with whatever group I could actually hang out with, you know, and who they can hang out with. You know, before I was like, man, I'm never get to do anything. You know, I have to sneak out and, you know, just, I was a little, I snuck out. Sorry, mom and dad. Oh, man. My goodness. And again, you know, sometimes I would get in trouble there because of who I was hanging out with. You know, I got caught a few times and man, I got punished for it too. And you don't believe that your friends will talk you into things. You don't believe, you know, you're like, oh, I got my head on me. I'm just fine, you know. Next thing you know, you're being dared pretty much, you know, and then they push that ego that you got and you're like, I'm going to do it.
There was one time.
I would do it.
Imagine, I almost did it one time.
Yeah.
God forgive me, Mom and Dad. I've never told them the story.
Oh, boy.
But it was prom night. Yeah, of all nights, prom night. I remember my friends came over and stayed with me after prom. And they were like, hey, are we going to go to the after party? And I was like, my parents are never going to allow us to do that, ever. Like, my parents are going to say no. Maybe I could have asked them and they would have said yes, but I didn't. I didn't ask them. It was probably too late, so I didn't say anything. And they were like, let's sneak out. And I was like, no, why would we do that? And they were like, come on. And I was like, okay, but like how? Like me trying to think like what scenario or like what can I do? And I was like, don't go there. Like immediately I stopped myself and I was like, don't go there.
Don't do it.
Because you are going to find a way and you're going to get out and your parents are going to be so mad at you. So I was like, no, we can't do that. My parents are going to get really mad at us. And I was like, no. And then I was like, you can go. Yeah. I was like, the door is right there. I can just easily say, they asked their parents and their parents said yes. You guys can easily go. I'm not going to do that because I will get... I don't know what. I don't want to think about what would happen to me if I snuck out for a party. Johnny, did you ever think of sneaking out for a party?
No.
Johnny, oh, that's right. Johnny had no parties because he had corona. Well,
no, not even in parties in general. Like my friends would always tell me, like, let's go out, like, or like football games and all that, like at school and all that. I never went to a football game. Never, nothing.
What?
Do you regret it?
No. No, for example, I never went to a football game.
I would have regretted that.
And all that. Reason why I didn't regret it was that I was always in church.
Johnny, I regret that for you. Okay.
Me too.
You guys can.
We can regret it.
Also because I don't like football.
Well, see now,
you suck, Johnny.
I could say that I regret, not going to a baseball game. But if I don't like baseball, I'm not really regretting that. Johnny, you don't know what you're missing with some American football, man. Come on.
Well, my school wasn't that good in football either. So that's
there you go.
So we trash. If it was if I was going to Palmdale High, then maybe that would have been different.
Okay.
They suck too.
They're the best football team in the whole
in the whole
AV. The district now?
In the whole AV district, they're the best school in football.
Palmdale.
Yeah.
P-Dale.
Because if you guys see, we suck. What's not Palmdale High and Courts Hill in football, like everyone else is trash.
Okay, I get it. I mean, I personally love football, but in high school, you didn't go to a football game for football.
Right.
You went for the hype.
Hang out, yeah.
You went to go hang out with your friends because they were always throwing that colorful powder.
Oh, there you go.
You walk out of the game with your hair looking all pink or green or something. Your friends are always like chanting and shouting. I went for the vibes. I love football, don't get me wrong, but I was not there to watch people run for the ball. It's entertaining, but I was there for my friends.
I never went. Like I asked my parents, I think my senior year, to go to the senior homecoming game and also go to the ping game, the one that they always do. Yeah. Just that my friends were talking about it. They're like, oh yeah, after we're gonna go to this party. I'm like, never mind.
Yeah.
And at the time, like my parents were like the service would go. The game was during the service, so my parents would be over here. I would be over there. There would be no one to pick me up. I had my cousin that would go to school with me, but he had his group. I had my group and all that. Yep. Like we would talk to each other and all that. Yeah. Like we would say hi, like what's up to each other. We'd talk and all that. Pero like how I said, he had his group, I had my group and all that. Mm-hmm. So I was more of the person that had I like the small group. I've never liked the group more than like 30,000 people. Like I'm not the type of person like,
Right. Everybody
like,
knows your name.
Like I'm like, you don't know me, and I want to keep it like that. So I wasn't like that in high school. And then like I started to, how Melissa said, like that prayer, and it wasn't more of a prayer for me, just that ever since that I told everyone that I was Christian, that's where I started losing friends. Little by little. Once I told them, because in middle school, I was like, and I kid you not, like me being a pastor's kid, I never told anyone that I was Christian.
Yeah.
Or being a pastor's kid, I never told anyone. Because again, I wanted to fit in and all that. I didn't want people to look at me differently. So going into high school, I saw it was different. So I'm like, you know what? I shouldn't care. And that was because one of my teachers told me, is like, for my Avid class, he was all like, who are you guys? Like, don't tell me that, what you like, who are you guys personally? Yeah. So when he said that, and I went up and I was all like, I'm a pastor. Like, what do I say? And I was like, what do I say, dude? Like, and because it was like freshman year, so like you don't know anyone. You know, like some kids that came from middle school with you, but like most of that class, I didn't know anyone. I'm like, oh wow, what do I say? And so then literally everyone was saying like, oh yeah, I'm like my parents are from here and blah blah blah. They just gave their whole story. So when it came up to me, I'm like, what do I say? Like, so I was trying to come up with a lie. I'm like, oh, my parents this and that and all that and blah blah. Like my favorite music is this. But I felt something in me. I'm like, nah, I gotta tell the truth.
Right.
So I went up. I was like, well, guys, like my name is Jonathan. Well, like there's nothing really interesting about me or interesting for what you guys might think. Like I might say something and maybe this might change like our whole how you guys look at me for the rest of the year or for the rest of the 4 years. I was all like, well, I'm a Christian. I'm Christian, like born and raised Christian and all that. My parents are pastors, and I'm proudly to say that I'm their son.
Nice.
And I'm proudly to say that I grew up in this path, a Christian path. My favorite songs, like, is just Christian songs. I only listen to Christian songs, so don't ask me, oh, did you hear this? Oh, did you hear that? Like, I will automatically say no. So I never listen. Like, yeah, I'll listen to, like, De vez en cuando, like, yeah, Bruno Mars and all that. I wouldn't listen to it, but, like, they would pop up and all that. Like, my sister and all that. So, like, I was, like, when they would ask me, like, oh, what's your favorite artist? I'm like, Miel San Marcos, Barack, Koalo Zamorano. Like, who's those people? I'm like, that's all you need to know. If you don't know them, you don't know them.
Look them up.
It was just that a lot of people that I felt like, should I go? Should I not to those games and all that? But how I said, it was always like the friends that I would go with, they would be like, oh, but we're going to do this after. I'm like, no. If you guys are my ride home, I know where you guys are going after the game. Yeah. I'd rather just not go and just like come to church and all that. Same thing with when I tried out for the soccer team, like I made the team and all that, thanks to God and all that. But that came into my mind. I'm like, the games were on Wednesdays and Fridays, so I wouldn't be coming to church. At the time, it was 2 days out of the 3, and then Palmdale came in when Palmdale Church came when we opened the Palmdale Church. So literally, I would only go to 2 services out of the whole week. It would only be Tuesday and Sunday in the morning and afternoon. I would miss Wednesdays and Fridays. Yep. So I was like, I felt bad when I got the list and everything. I saw my name and all there, and the coach was all like, "Oh yeah, we wanna like we're like waiting for the other people," because I think they had like individual tryouts for other people that like had gotten sick or something that couldn't make the first tryouts. So I'm like, okay. And they were like, "There's gonna be people cut." He told me because I had a good communication with the coach. He's all like, "There's gonna be cuts and all that." I'm like, "Okay." And then I was like, "Should I tell him?" I didn't tell him anything the first time. Yeah. When it came the second time around, I told him, "Hey, coach, I want to come up to you and I want to tell you that I don't think I'm gonna be part of the team." He's like, "Why?" I was like. And the thing is how he's like, he didn't know I was Christian, so I didn't tell him anything. And then I was like, nah, I'm gonna tell him, like, no, it's because coach, whoa. And he's a Hispanic, like, es que los partidos son Wednesdays and Fridays, and I have service Wednesdays and Fridays. I can't go. Yeah. So I decided to come to church, and I've told everyone, like, I told tanto, like, Nathan and them, I told everyone that goes to the church, if I've told them about my like, the things that I went through high school, I was like, I could have played. I could have played. I'm not good. Whatever the coach saw in me, he saw in me. I don't know what it was because I'm not good. Like I mess around here, like, oh, I'm better than you. Like, no, I suck. But how he said, there's always that one thing that the coach, the coach always looks for. It's not if you're good, but like if the hard work that you put into it.
Yeah.
So like that was me. Like I would put the hard work into like even tryouts. No one would care about the tryouts, but like if I want to impress the coach, I got to work hard for it.
Yeah.
So my friends were like, "Why'd you quit the team?" I was like, "Because I got something better to do."
Yeah.
So that's why with me, like high school wise and all that, that's why I don't regret not going to anything because for me personally, I don't speak for like her experience, my brother's experience, or like experience from like the other youth that graduated high school. Me personally, I made the decision because I knew it was going to benefit me.
Yeah.
And thank God it did benefit me a lot more than what I expected it to.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, how do you maintain your individuality? Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Yes.
When you are, when you're, everything about you says, I want to be a part of some group, how do you keep being Johnny, or how do you keep being Mel, or how do I keep being, Ben? And I think that's really the hardest part about just being, you feel you have to communicate with people.
Yeah.
You have to. But at the same time, you don't want to lose yourself, and I think a lot of the bad things we do, again, are negative influences, and they come from sometimes people we know. So how do you separate yourselves? How do you guys go about doing that?
Now or then?
Both.
I think then first of all, I didn't want to be a loner at school.
Right.
So I remember when I did lose my friends, I had this one friend who I resonated with a lot. She's super kind. And I told her, hey, can I hang out with you for lunch? And she was like, yeah, sure. It's so weird how I remember this. And she was the sweetest person, and I met her friends. And I remember saying, like, obviously God removed that person or that friend that I had for a reason. And I'm just going to stay who I am.
Yeah.
Like, maybe we won't, like, get along or we don't have anything in common, but I'm just going to remain me.
Yeah.
And God places those people in your life that, needs to be there. So, like, I didn't find it hard in that transition, like, with friends, personally. Now, because I'm in a much different place in my life, I'm always at church. So I'm always meeting people, whether it be out at church or out of church, or because of someone from a church, I met someone else from church, or whatever the case may be. So I always try to, stay within like the Christian community, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
But not all Christians that say they're Christians are Christians.
Exactly.
So you have to be very careful with that as well too. Like just making sure you know their morals, what they believe in, like make sure they live by what they believe in and what they say, because that says a lot about someone too. I can say, oh yeah, I believe in God, and then you're over there swearing, and
the moment you step out of church.
Yeah. And then she's like, do you really?
Yeah.
Are you sure about that? So just, being cautious of that. But again, projecting who you are as a person, like being honest about who you are. Like people ask me like, oh, hi, how are you? What are you doing in church? Oh, I serve. I love to serve. Like I love being in church. Like, is it draining? Yes. Do I get tired? Of course.
Yeah.
But I love to do what I do. Like I love being at church. I love helping people, making sure people are okay. Singing, because that's what God gave me to serve Him. So I love using that for Him. But just being yourself, because sometimes I think we try to act like someone we're not, or just try to sound cool and say something just to fit in. And nowadays that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
At least at the age I'm in. I don't know if it's just because I'm like older.
You kind of outgrew it.
Yeah. I think I'm just over like what people think of me at this point.
Yeah. And people always will judge. Doesn't matter how good you think you are at something, or how good you're looking. Somebody's always going to want to nitpick.
Yeah. And they still do. Like sometimes you think you're in like the best place in your life, and you hear this little comment of someone saying something. I'm like, you know what? Whatever. Like it doesn't bother me. Does it bother me? Of course, but I'm not gonna let that get to me either. And I think that's the episode we talked about with JR, when we said like, some people you don't really want JR. Dang, I sound so close saying that.
J-Red.
She's over there laughing.
She's behind the cameras today, folks.
She sure
So,
is.
you know, we got to give her a few shout outs.
Yeah,
You know what I
we
mean?
do.
We love J-Red.
We love
do.
her.
Yes, we
love
do.
her.
That's
But
awesome right
yeah,
there.
just like, don't worry about what other people think about you. Like, you have to be careful of the people you surround yourself with. Like, that's the main.
So how do you get through to somebody who's younger? You know what I mean? Because as soon as you hit, I think high school, I think that urge to want to fit in is there, and it's a huge urge.
Yeah.
You ever notice somebody going right from middle school to high school? All of a sudden, they start dressing differently.
Yes.
They start talking differently. You know what I mean? It's
They start acting.
They start acting differently.
Their
Yeah.
behavior starts changing.
That too, and sometimes it's not really even them. They just want to
Fit in.
Yeah, they just want to fit in.
And the thing is, like how you guys said, they see how that person acts that they're hanging out with, and that basically tends to be attached. Like they're so attached to them at school.
Yeah.
They take how they act at school, they take it home.
Yeah.
There it is.
And all that. So literally, like if they're like screaming and all that, like messing around, or like if I don't know where they go to their house and they scream at their mom or something like that,
Yeah.
like they take that and they're like, well, if he can do it, then I can do it to my mom too.
Yeah.
So
And
they
think
start
how-
screaming at their moms and all
Yeah.
their parents.
The disrespect.
It's so.
Yeah.
But think how it would be the opposite way. Like, a good child of God.
There you go.
And you go be contagious to someone that isn't a believer. Imagine the change you can make in that one person that walks into that toxic home, that changes that home.
Yeah.
And then those people change their family, like their aunts or uncles or whatever. Like, the person you are is a lot. Like, you have so much to say for yourself. For you to stay that way and put yourself in places where there isn't anyone like you, just like they're contagious to others, you can also be contagious to others.
Now, how come it's usually the negative aspects of people that seems to be the more infectious things, that they spread to people. You know what I mean? Somebody looks at somebody, or a girl looks at another girl like, wow, look at her. Look at all that attention she gets. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That she's loud, she's rude, but everybody pays attention to her. Or the guy that, that, I don't know, is just disrespectful to people.
Yeah.
Look at all the attention he gets. Is it that? Are they impressed with that? Or what is it here? What am
I
missing?
feel it's just the attention that they get.
I think
They
it
want that.
Yeah.
They want, like, one wants that. Like, if, how I said, a freshman going in, and like in high school, sometimes you're in classes with like juniors, seniors, or sophomores and all that. So you see the senior go up and all that, like talking back to the teacher or acting all cool in front of everyone. So it's not much of the net like that, how bad they're talking to the teacher. It's just that now everyone's paying attention to him. And like, oh, then like they say, what is he gonna do next class? Or like if he gets suspended from the class and all that, like they take him out. What happens when he comes back?
Yeah.
So basically, they already have the attention of that person. So that freshman or that new person, that newcomer going into high school, like they want that. Like, I want to be like him. Not rude. They might say that, not rude, but the attention that he gets from everyone.
Yeah.
I hear that.
So that's what it is. That everyone just wants the attention, and unfortunately, the way that they get the attention are the bad ways.
Yeah. And I think there's, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I think there's even like some way, I don't know if it's in the Bible or if I heard pastors say this, but they say how the enemy like loves to make those bad things look so good,
Looks so tempting.
look so tempting, or like they disfrazan las cosas malas into like looking
Yeah,
pretty.
it's todo. How does it go? I forgot how the Bible verse goes.
But it says it like he
It's-
uses like those
I went blank
ugly
right now.
things and he makes them beautiful.
Yeah.
So they're like covered and you don't see how ugly it is inside. And
It's like the Bible verse. It says que el diablo se vista como ángel de luz.
there you go.
That's it.
So the devil, like those people, they might be, and how you said, like it's not even people that we might not know, influencers that basically say like, oh, like this is good, like oh look what I do, like pranks and all that, and people like I was watching a video like back then how the pranks used to be. Like no one got hurt. It was
was
just
so
pure
innocent.
confusion.
Yeah.
Like I saw one that some people would go in like in a porta potty. I think I
That
sent
was
that to you.
funny, yeah.
And they literally like they'll just put like a big box like inside like just the door where it is.
Yeah, yeah.
So when the person would come out, they would come out to like
a conference room.
a conference room, and like it was just people talking, and they'll be like,
They're like,
and then the people coming out of the bathroom, the porta potty, they're like.
and they're like, oh sorry, and they go back. Like if they're like, oh my bad.
Like
I
if
walked
they
into the
like
wrong
if they
area.
teleported to a different place.
Wow.
So like it was that type of things back
Yeah,
then. Like now, but now you see like people like
They get dunked in
there's
pools.
one guy that
hurt.
my dad likes to watch, and it's just funny. He's all like, he tries to act all gangster, like, "Hey, what's up, my guy? What's up, bro?"
I think I see it.
And but like he says it, but he says like other words and all that. Like, you trying to get, I don't know what he says, like, or you trying to get banged and like that, but like in the sense like he was like, you want to get beat up and all that, and he was promoting energy drink, the Bang energy drink, and like you just see everyone like running after him, like, "Hey bro, it's a prank, they can't," and all that. Like, but people, how he said, they don't know, and they take it serious. Like, man, you don't know who I am. Like, I got a jail. Like, there was one guy that, like, I was in jail for 14 years and all that. Like, you don't know who I am. He's like, you trying to get banged, my guy, or what? Like, you're like squaring up and all that.
Yeah.
So literally, and then after is when he takes out the bottle, he's like, "No, bro, I said if you want to get banged, like the banging."
Bruh.
So like, it's just those type of pranks that people like. They find those funny. Of
They're
course,
pushing the edge.
they are funny.
Yeah.
Like they are funny, but to the point that like you're putting your life at risk.
There you go.
Yeah.
Like then that's not funny anymore.
Exactly.
And it's all about that attention that you get, and like you said, it's a lot. Now, I gotta admit, when I was growing up, a lot of my friends, they had wads of cash, no job. So you're doing something here, okay?
Yeah.
There's no reason why you got hundreds and you're 14 years old. Okay. There's no reason
You ain't
That's right.
why
selling.
you got some
you
Air
boy.
Jordans. All right.
You ain't
And I'm
selling
sitting-
candy
what I'm
bars
saying?
and none of that in
I was kind
school.
of mad because, I was looking down at my little Pumas, my Adidas, and they was like, "Look at these
Jordans.
Jordans I got." I was like, "Can I borrow them just for one day?" I was like, "Nope. You're just gonna stick with your Pumas."
Yeah, and literally like nowadays too, I remember like a bunch of kids would walk in, even like kids that were like 16 driving like expensive cars and all that, and I'm like, and
Y'all doing something.
no, and the thing is that I would
Y'all
go
doing
up to
something.
them, I'm like, "Hey, is that your car?" He's like, "Yeah, it's my car. Like, looky, like, and my shoes." Like, he would dress up all nice.
Yeah.
Happen to find out that it wasn't his car; it was just his parents' car.
Yeah.
And a bunch. That's what it is. A bunch of high school kids that want to act cool.
Yeah.
They take their parents' car. Oh, they got their permit. They take their parents' car. They get the expensive stuff because they're spoiled kids and all that. So literally, that goes on and on
And you know
with them.
very well those are the rudest kids you'll ever meet.
Yeah,
Yes, they are.
I remember this. And I kid you not. I remember this kid in middle school. He was, and I'll say it like this, and not like disrespectful in any way, but that kid was a nerd, like a straight up nerd, like glasses, the way that he dressed and all that. So I kid you not, he would wear suspenders to school in middle school. I kid you not. That's how much of, and I'll say it like that, like because of what you see on TV, like when you say, "Oh, a nerd," like a guy with like glasses, freckles, pimples, and like their hair like slicked down all the way and all that, suspenders, and that's what the typical what people think of. And I kid you not, this guy like looked exactly like that. He looked like, I don't know if you guys seen that show Ned Declassified on Nickelodeon, like an old show. He was like the one guy, I think his name was Cooper, or I forgot the because it was 3, but it was one guy that was a nerd. Like he would have like his glasses connected to like the whole system of the school and
I
all
thought you
that.
were gonna say tape.
No,
That's what I thought.
no, and he had
I was
tape
like, here it
too.
comes.
He had tape in the middle, but like how I said, that kid from middle school. But when he got to high school, he started changing the way that he dressed and everything. He started wearing like Gucci. All that. I'm like, I know for damn well sure you don't work, bro. I know.
Like, you know damn when you got that
That
Gucci
was-
from your
and,
grandpa's
like,
closet.
And I was all like, he doesn't like. I knew the type of person he was, so he wasn't the type of person like to sell like drugs and all that. But like he was just spoiled.
Yeah.
Like he said like, "Oh, I want to fit in," and he told his mom, "Buy me this, buy me that." Oh, I would, you know where I would like, he told me, he's like, I would go like to the malls like of Northridge or like outlets and all that. I'll buy like, you know where, and I told him like, bro, you know where I would go when I would go to like to go for the first day of school and buy clothes? I would go to downtown LA.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Fallas Paredes.
No, back then, yes. Fallas Paredes when they were open. But I would go to downtown LA, the callejones, to buy clothes because one, they were cheap, and they were ones that would last me the whole year.
Yep.
Literally.
And like up until like literally like, I think it was towards my last year of high school is where like I told my mom like, Mom, I want these shoes, and they bought them for me, but it wasn't like, oh, like if they ripped a little bit or they got dirty, I want new ones. Like no, I would try and clean them. If not, like if they weren't clean and all that, okay, I'll just leave them for like that for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not the type, like, and you guys know how I am. I'm not the type of person.
You're not a materialistic person.
I'm not.
Right,
Like, if you guys give me,
on the other hand, no, I'm just kidding.
if
I'm
you
not
guys
either.
give me just like a
Why you
random
look up like
shirt,
that,
you guys give me like a random shirt, like I'll
You gotta
wear
rock
it.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't mind. Or shoes in general. Like, I don't mind. I'm not the type of person like, oh no, they have to be Adidas or Pumas or Nikes, or I want Jordans. I don't accept any other shoes if they're not Jordans. I'm like, you guys can bring me Skechers.
Yeah.
All I care for,
You know
because
what? Those
Skechers are
are
really, really
I gotta
comfortable.
admit,
We're talking
Skechers,
about that yesterday
y'all
with Ben.
make some good shoes.
Skechers.
I mean, seriously, Skechers. Thank you.
Like I was telling Ben when we were talking, I think yesterday.
Skechers.
Sponsor. Not
Thank
the
you.
ranch.
All right. Oh wait, hold on. I kicked the ranch, didn't I? Skechers. This goes out to you. I appreciate it. I had foot pain for like 2 years.
Yeah.
That's all for you, Skechers. That's all for you.
I catch you warn.
He didn't warn us about that applause. That was kind of loud.
It
Jackie,
was loud.
You saw him sneaking towards that. You didn't even warn us.
That was not as
She's all like, no, because I was fixing it up to him. But no, like I was telling Ben, like my shoes right now,
Yeah.
I got them at Burlington.
Yeah.
For like
Skechers.
no, they're Pumas. They're really comfortable. And I bought them. My parents bought them for me because I went with my parents. I'm like, they una vez. Because I'm not the type of person like I'll wear my shoes and I won't buy new shoes until like 3-4 years after.
There you go.
I know. The only shoes
Yeah.
I'll ever buy over and over and over again.
Or white
White
shoes.
Vans.
Oh yeah.
I always have these. Literally.
The
I have
sneakers
these-
can last forever though. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Though, like if you ask
they
me,
think they're dirty.
the shoes that I need to buy the most are church shoes.
yeah.
I don't know why.
No, it's true because I mean, you got different suits. You got different. Well, actually, I don't know why, but like those are the only ones I seem to outgrow. My little church shoes, you know. I'm
Like,
like,
I
are these
don't
things
know why
shrinking as
either.
I attend?
And it's the thing with me, it's not that like my foot grows out. It's just that like they always get messed up.
Yeah.
It's because
Like-
you use them more often. Like me, I
think
have
so.
more heels than I have sneakers.
Wow.
Because I'm always I know it's bad, but I have a bunch of pairs of heels because I'm always at church, so I'm always in heels.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Versus like these, I thought I had a bunch, but I literally have like I want to say 20 pairs of sneakers, which is a little bit compared to my heel.
Good God.
20?
Compared to my heel collection.
I have like
Okay, 15.
4 pairs of shoes.
Brother
15.
Abraham and the Montessori, I'm gonna need you guys to adopt me. All right, because she got 20
No.
sets
These
of
are,
shoes.
These are
I don't
my
got that.
purchases.
I maybe have 20 altogether.
Girl, stop. Wait. Is that bad?
My goodness,
I'm sorry.
you're talking to a man.
It's okay. My mom has like
You know what? My mom-
4,000 racks
My
of
mom
shoes.
supports my shoe addiction because she has a shoe addiction too.
I don't even got 20 T-shirts.
It's hereditary.
All right,
It's not my fault.
I don't even got 20 sets of gloves. Okay, I barely got $20 on my wallet here.
Oh,
okay.
Jesus.
She got 20 sets of shoes, people.
No. Okay, you know what?
That's like 40 bucks
It's
a
okay.
pair.
I declutter
or
very
more.
often and I donate stuff. Okay.
To her sister.
If she was playing
No.
basketball,
It's
like
still amongst the same family.
No.
if she was on sports, playing basketball, she could change her shoes like every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You're like, you know what? I'm tired of the way this one squeaks.
These don't go with
right.
the outfit. Let me change.
Let me change this up real quick.
No,
Hold
these
on
look
now.
better. Hold on.
But yeah, it's
Not
just
me.
that. It back to the topic.
I know. How did we go to shoes?
yeah.
Oh, sneakers.
Because of how
Skechers,
people want to change.
Pumas.
Yeah.
And how people like how it's just
Me trying to
that's
connect the
that.
dots.
So is it
That-
everything? Is it the whole style that people? change just to fit in? I mean, it's.
You know what I realized too? The way that they talk.
I've noticed that's about to be the first thing.
It's not. I wouldn't say like the language.
Yeah.
Like there's people that don't cuss, but the way that they talk.
Like the certain way they pronounce their words.
Yeah, I'm
or,
like.
Oh yeah! All of a sudden, I got an accent.
Like I know all of a sudden they were like
Yes.
we finna do this. I'm like, what the heck is finna?
What is finna? Can
Like
someone explain?
I know that's that like what like it's we're going to, but it's
Oh.
their way to say
I'm going
like,
to?
like yeah we're gonna
think
I'm
Jackie
gonna
made
go
that word
home
up.
after this. Oh.
yeah they were
That
like
feels good.
we finna do this.
We finna dip after this.
Yeah, so
I
it's
like
like
that.
the gangster
Dang,
way
you
to
see how
say
that just
that.
unleashed like a whole new language in me?
Yeah, so you see Melissa trying to act like she's cool. So yeah, like it's just that the way that they did their
I am
languages.
cool. Johnny.
She is.
According to Jocelyn last week, you weren't cool. Oh,
She took it back.
I didn't say that.
J-Red?
I never said that.
She took it back.
She said she never said that.
Yeah, she said when Melissa came up to me like, you're not cool.
She's like, you're too churchy.
Yeah, you're too churchy.
I never said not cool.
Can we?
Yeah.
Should I splice in
when
a
someone
little bit of the
says
last
you're too
episode?
churchy-
Should I do
Yeah,
that?
you should.
Should I splice in a little
What
bit of
does
the
that
episode
mean?
and try to
What?
find that part?
They're
Okay.
like, you're too churchy.
Too churchy means
You're not cool.
No.
Yes, because if you go nowadays, if you go to school and you're like, oh, you're too churchy, you're like, oh, you can't hang out with us. You're not cool. You can't hang out with us.
Really?
Yeah, that's because that's what happened with me. Like how I said, I
churchy.
became.
Correction. Behind the cameras, we have people telling us that churchy means goody goody. But I am a goody goody.
Is that true, youth? Are we too churchy?
Am I too goody goody for your guys' generation? Because if I am, I don't care.
Gen X.
Okay, but going back to that.
No, Gen Z.
Going,
I like Gen X and Gen Z.
yeah, you're like, you're too churchy.
And we started cracking up when we saw that.
Yeah, we were watching in the
He's
car
like,
with-
girl, you're too churchy.
I was like, oh,
Whoa.
dang. But going back to what Johnny said about like churchy and square, whatever, I forgot what you said, but
The language.
no, after that. You said something about church. Let's roll back the footage. I'm just kidding.
Imagine.
I'm gonna
I don't know
splice
what he
this in.
said. Yeah, but he said something like, I don't remember, church something. But point is that, believe it or not, a lot of people at your school are Christian. And they're too afraid to say it, just like you're too afraid to say it.
Mm-hmm.
When I was in my last year, I remember I had to stop going to church this year. So I had a lot of free time, and that's why I was like on the games, on the dances. So I was like very open to like going out and doing all that. My parents were very like, they would let me do all that stuff too. So I remember that I didn't say I was Christian because technically in my mind I wasn't Christian because I wasn't going to church.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people would like tell me like, oh yeah, I have church. And I would be like, oh, you do? Like me thinking you should never say that at school, never tell anybody. And like, oh, I'm going to church. I'm like, oh, you are? I'm like, yeah. Oh, okay.
Did you
Like,
call them churchy?
No, I didn't.
Oh, goodness gracious.
I didn't call them churchy because I'm not judgy. But believe it or not, like all those people that you probably are like the worst potty mouth in your class.
Yeah.
That's probably the one kid that's going to church every Sunday with his mama, pulling his ear, taking him to church.
Yep.
So just because someone doesn't say it doesn't mean they aren't. So just be prepared to like a lot of people in your school are probably Christian.
Like I remember one day we were just sitting down like during our class and we had a free day, and I don't know, like one of my friends were like, I didn't know he was Christian. He was all like, yeah, bro, I gotta practice this weekend for my church on Sunday. I was like, he's probably like a Catholic person and all that. I thought that. I'm like, that's the first thing, like if you're Hispanic, you're Catholic right away.
Yeah.
But then he put like mi grande y fuerte, hay libertad and all that. I'm like, hold up, bro.
Yeah.
And I was
You've been
like,
hiding this.
bro,
I know that
You have been hiding all of this.
I'm like, when did you become Christian? He's like, bro, I've been Christian my whole life. I'm like, and you barely telling me this now?
You're like, huh?
I'm like, you knew I was a pastor's kid, but you telling me this now?
You know?
There's just sometimes too afraid to admit it. I remember
I think that's what it is.
I was too afraid to be like,
Yeah.
I'm Christian. But I would say to my friends and they automatically knew like, okay, Melissa goes to church. So they would even tell me, hey, can we go Friday? Oh, wait, you have service Friday. Like when I started going and I was like, you're right about that. Don't even
Yeah.
try to invite me because you're going to make me feel bad that I can't go. But I'm going to be at church and you can come with me.
Yeah.
And I would invite them to church every once in a while. When I was going to in LA, I would invite my friend because my friend knew like I'm a church person. My parents go to church all the time, so I'm there.
Yeah.
But if you always want to come, and up until now, like I'll talk to her and she's like, I used to love going to church with you, and I was like, see, like invite someone. It doesn't hurt.
Right.
It doesn't hurt to stand out and be different. 'cause
Always reach
you're not
out.
the only one. But you know, like up until this day, I haven't seen her in years, and she was like, I used to love going to church with you. I used to love like hearing you sing because I would sing back then too.
Wow.
And I was like, you went for the Lord, but I appreciate the comment.
Yeah.
But you know, like even now, like now we're full-grown adults, and she's like, oh, I used to love going. And I was like, wow, the fact that you remember too, because that was like middle school.
And that means you affect her positively. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Praise Jesus, hallelujah.
That's what I'm saying. Positive influences up in here.
Yeah.
I had a quote about positive influences.
Let's do it and let's hear
Hold
it.
on. Dang it. Did I lose it?
I think
my
she
gosh.
lost it.
Oh, no.
Okay.
You cannot hang around. Wait, I think it's this one. Is it this one? Probably. I don't know, but it says positive, so it must have something to do with positive. It said you cannot hang out with negative people and expect to live a positive life.
That's deep.
Dang.
That's really deep.
Dang.
Mic drops. Hold on. Wait a minute.
1, 2, 3. Ooh.
Did you catch that mic drop? Did you get all of us? Hold on. Did you get the camera done with everybody?
Let's do it again.
We're going to have to do that again.
Oh, you
Let's
got
do
one
it.
by
Camera
Jackie,
forward.
you got
Camera
to get
forward,
this.
Jackie.
All right.
Okay,
Ready?
ready?
Here we go. Mic drop.
Oh, guys, I think I
Let's
went to...
go.
I have never seen a better mic drop in my life.
Oh, really? Wow.
My goodness. All
That
right.
was a good one, guys.
That was a good one right there.
Wait, I have another one, guys.
Bring it on.
These quotes are deep. It says, "You're only going to be as good as the people you surround yourself with. So be brave enough to let go of those who keep weighing you down."
Now that is deep.
Mic drop.
Jackie, did you get that?
Yeah.
Jackie, thank you.
Thank you for
getting
that, Jackie.
No, I didn't get it.
Look, guys, this is me.
I
Sorry.
could have done it again for you, Jackie. This is recorded. Okay. All right. Glad you got that one. We practice those people. We actually practice those mic
Yeah,
drops.
we do.
All right.
Because Ben doesn't want us dropping these.
That's about
Really expensive.
90% of our setup right there, okay? I mean, like 10 minutes setting up all these cameras and everything, and then, about an hour and a half just practicing dropping mics without dropping mics. All right. What's another quote for us? You got a good one?
The worst person to be around is someone who complains about everything and appreciates nothing.
Goodness gracious.
Wow.
I think
That
all
was a
of
mic
us-
drop, guys.
Look how high Johnny has that mic up there. Goodness gracious.
I was scared.
I dropped the mic closer to my hand.
My God, are these mics going to survive the night?
I don't know.
Okay.
We're gonna need new mics by
Guys,
next
this
week.
one. This is what I was talking about when I said, like, you have to be the difference.
Okay.
I think it's this one. It says, happy people influence the positivity in the room. Unhappy people adapt to negativity in the room.
That's deep.
Should I repeat it?
Yes.
Happy people influence the positivity in the room. Unhappy people adapt to negativity in the room. So maybe those people that are falling into negative influences are because they're not happy.
I'm pretty sure.
Why? There's so much good going. Like, the fact that you're alive is good. You should be happy that God gave you the opportunity to be awake another day, for you to influence and be a positive person, a positive, like, what is the word? Influence. Yeah, positive influence. Like, just have that positivity like flow out of you to impact other people.
Now, you guys said something earlier I think it was pretty deep. You were saying that, the devil can dress things up to make it look like it's something that can make you happy.
Yeah.
So maybe that is the reason why we fall to negative influences so easily. We're looking for something to give us that instant happiness, that smile, that laughter.
Yeah.
But then you find yourself laughing at people who got hurt or something. You find yourself. Is that another quote?
It's like this one.
That a good
It's
one?
like the one that she said. It says, "Don't adapt to the energy in the room. Influence the energy in the room."
That's good right there.
So don't. If you see like there's bad energy, don't adapt to it. Change it.
Change it up.
Be the
Yeah.
one. Be that change. And we've always said it. The Bible says, "Be the light." That how Jesus was the light.
Right.
Yeah.
So
The light of the world.
when we walk, like people, like, and I remember when Brother Christopher Quintanilla, when he would come, he would always say, like, he would always give us his testimony that he would be onto a plane and all that. He's like, there's in the TSA guy would be like, there's something different about you. I don't know what it is, but there's something different about you, the way that you walk and everything. And he's all like, whoa, what do you mean? He's like, I don't know, there's just something different about you. Like, there's a light there's something like that's brightening you up and all that. So literally he's all like, and that's when he asked him, like, are you Christian? And then that's when he's like, yeah, like, that's what's making the difference in you, that you have God with you, and that makes you like shine in the darkest places. And that's what it is, that when God is with us, we tend to be like the light in the darkness.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, and when the youth are going through maybe like, or brothers and sisters are going through terrible times and all that, sometimes they feel they can't do anything. That they feel like, no, like, I can't. but they always just need one thing, and that one thing is just basically saying that God is with them, because they know that. But sometimes they need someone to remind them that you're not alone. You're with God, but you have a whole other church. You have a whole entire church on their knees praying for you. You have a whole entire family of people from church that are praying for you and like are with God and telling God like this brother needs healing, or this brother's like going through problems financially. Like, so we have we have a bunch of people that are praying for us, that are doing that for us, and I thank everyone from church that. And I said it on Tuesday. My grandma was in the hospital on Friday. This was when this airs. It would be 2 weeks from now. She was in the hospital, and literally like we prayed and everything, and that same day she got out of the hospital, and she went to church on Tuesday, and I told her when I gave the time to my uncle, because he was the one going to preach on that Tuesday, and I told him like, because I don't call her grandma, I call her mi madre. That's something that me, my brother, and my sister grew up in. Even with my sister's kids, like we've told her mi madre. So I was like, if there's something that my grandma has taught me is, in your lows, praise God. In your lows, go on your knees. And many people think going on your knees is a sign of defeat. Lifting up your hands is a sign of defeat. It's not. And I've said it many times, tanto me, my dad, and other ones that preach, when you go on your knees, it's not because you're defeated, but it's because you're getting closer to God. Right. That you're like, when you lift up your hands, like we see in the Bible that when Moses was lifting up his hands, and once his hands would go down, the enemy would like start defeating them. They would start losing like the battle they were fighting. But once his hands were getting lifted up by the two people aside him, like they would win. And that's what it is. God is trying to lift our hands up, and it's like, you're not alone. This battle is mine. So you got to keep on going. And that's what happens when we have those negative influences that people try to change the way that we live and all that, and by changing, we don't know how it's going to affect us in the long run.
With negative influence, do you think it's the person who is negatively influenced? Do you think they feel like they might be missing something, and that's why they allow themselves to be influenced? I know, when I'm happy with myself, nothing can change me. You know what I mean? I'm like, just fine the way I am. But the times I felt like I was missing something, like the shoes, the money. I wanted the stacks of cash. I wanted the roll. I did. I mean, I saw my friends, but I know they weren't doing something right to get that roll. And it was so hard not to. And I think that my parents, one being strict, the other one just being able to talk with me about it, kept me out of that. And of course they prayed for me. But do you think it's the fact that you might be missing something that makes you fall to negative influences?
Yeah, I think it has to do with the fact that you're not content with yourself.
Yeah.
I think you're not either happy with where you are, or something in you is, not going well. Sometimes it comes out of sadness. You don't feel fulfilled. And there's better places to look for those things that are missing within you. For example, church, God. Like, God is there with you literally now. Yeah. In your most toughest moment. Like, if you find yourself like not knowing where to go to God. Just pray. Just close your eyes and pray. God, please fill me, because I'm not okay, and I don't want to fall into something I shouldn't, because that's the easiest way. Like, when you're not happy, when you're upset, when you don't feel filled, you go look into those wrong places, thinking you'll get filled, and it's all temporary. Like you said earlier, it's all temporary, because of this world, everything is temporary. Yeah. So it's just, you're going to fall into a place where you're not going to be happy. You're unhappy now, and you're going to be happy for a sec, and you're going to be unhappy in the next 5 years of your life. It's only when you come to Christ where you will truly feel happiness. Yeah.
And I'm going to read a Bible verse. I'm going to read it, the beginning part in one version, the other part in a different version. But this is it's a Bible verse that we all know. Juan 1:1. It says, en el principio era el verbo, y el verbo era con Dios, y el verbo era Dios. Este era el principio con Dios. Todas las cosas por Él fueron hechas, y sin Él nada lo que haya sido hecho fue hecho. En Él estaba la vida, y la vida era la luz de los hombres. And verse 5 is the one that I'm reading in a different version. It says, la luz brillará en la oscuridad, y la oscuridad jamás podrá apagarla. I'll read it in English. That verse, it says, the New King James Version, it says, and the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness did not comprehend it. So in other words, the darkness will not shut off that light.
Exactly.
Right.
Because that light, it's not just any light. That light is Jesus Christ. He says, I am the light of the world. Yeah. If you walk with me, you won't walk in darkness anymore. And maybe, we will go through things, and we've said it many, many times. I think that's one thing that we've preached the most about this church, that we will go through problems. But at the end of everything, God will be with us no matter what.
Yeah.